I played Layla in solo queue ranked all the way to Mythic to prove a point. Layla's damage needs to be nerfed. Why Layla, of all heroes? Mainly because I, like many others, don't really like seeing picks like Layla, Mea or Hanabi at the highest rank. It is a roulette on whether the enemy gold laner is competent enough to punish your gold laner with a skill-based hero and snowball to 10,000 gold in under 8 minutes, winning the game on the spot. I'm usually happy if I see these picks on the opposite side. If I see Hanabi on the enemy team, I'm like, okay, I can probably gank her quite a bit and bully her. Mea, after she got adjusted, it's also pretty chill. Layla, I have to end this soon or it's gonna hurt. One lore thing from my side. Before season 36, I was planning to include Mea as well in this video, but she got adjusted and now I feel she's more fair. Nowadays she has her level 1 plus inspired cheese stat and her ult plus inspire Unga Bunga play, which is not as destructive as it once was. Hanabi wasn't even considered because she's actually really amazingly balanced, in my opinion. She can output a good amount of damage. With decent positioning awareness, Hanabi can be a game changer in a teamfight, but she cannot 1v9 in a close game, which is a good thing. No hero should be able to carry you a 50% win rate in ranked over player in a 1v9 situation. That's not balanced. Of course, you may send me videos of Hanabi actually doing a 1v9, but that I oppose with a simple fact. Even a goddamn Rafaela can 1v9 in certain games. For the build, I use the same exact build with the same exact emblems and the same exact spell all the time. The only variation is whether I build Sea Halberd or Blade of Despair first. After I get enough gold, I sell my boots for either BOD or Sea Halberd to get even more damage. I found this build to work extraordinarily well for my needs. Hardcore provides you with crucial sustain in the early stages of the game, significantly reducing the need to recall to your base after a skirmish. I see many players build Windtalker. In my view, Windtalker is a blunder pick for Layla. It just doesn't provide you with useful benefits. The magic ricochet damage is nice, but doesn't Hardcore provide you with physical damage as well as lifesteal to be capable of outputting even more damage? Movement speed is not a benefit for Layla in my opinion. You may say rotation speed, but you cannot effectively rotate with Layla without my 3 core items. You need to destroy your opponent's turret first before rotating, otherwise you will struggle and will lose map pressure if you rotate and lose your gold drain tower in the process. Hardcore also provides the same crit chance percentage and a small attack speed boon, which is nullified if you crit hit your enemies, as Hardcore gives you an extra 20% attack speed for 2 seconds. You must understand what you want to do as a Layla, and my interpretation is very simple. I want to become a nuclear weapon. For that, I want that raw damage with that extremely powerful Hardcore. Hardcore is a must in the current patch for many marksman picks. It also goes unbelievably well with one item. More on that just in a moment. What are my core items for Layla? Hardcore is one of them. The sustain Layla gets in the early game significantly eases up your snowball potential. Unless you are famous and get ganked 24/7, you will farm well in most cases. Second item is Berserker's Fury. Plus 40% critical damage evaporates any and all squishy opponents. Also, critical strikes grant an extra 5% physical damage for 2 seconds. Now you understand why Windtalker isn't just a meh or a bad item on Layla, but a blunder item. You are wasting an item slot for 0 physical attack. That is why you shouldn't just copy other people's build, but make your own builds instead. All of the pro builds and builds in general on Layla use Windtalker, and all of them are wrong. The RRQ Skyro build is straight up raw with both Mythic items on it, even though they do not stack. The last item is the Mythic gun. Even after the nerf, it's still a must build item for many marksman heroes. physical penetration, extra attack range, extra attack speed, as well as extra movement speed when basic attacking your opponent. When you finish these 3 items, Layla transforms into a later beast, and it only gets better, because after you finish the build, you become an unholy beast. 4th item is none other than the Rose Gold Dog. I was stunned to see Rose Gold Meteor not being on any of the top builds despite insane compatibility with Layla. Physical attack, attack speed and extra lifesteal are all good, but the passive is what makes this item stand out. You get the shield when below 30% HP with a 50% decaying speed boost. This little speed boost had saved me on numerous ganks, and the shield had kept heroes like Farza or even higher from one-shotting me and gave me enough time to run to safely, or just destroy them. Then there is the second passive, an extra point of hybrid defense from all lifesteal up to 50. Even though it is halved for non-fighter heroes, 15 hybrid defenses for Layla is still a great bargain. This item is a low-key 4th core item for Layla. I cannot imagine getting to near a 70% solo queue win rate without this item. The 5th item I built is one of the Blade of Despair or Sea Halberd. It depends on the amount of lifesteal and spell ramp the enemy team has. Usually I prefer to build the BOD. Blade of Despair unlocks Layla's nuclear potential. 160 physical attack plus 5% movement speed makes Layla an even more agile beast. BOD is expensive, but its passive makes it worth all the pennies. Dealing damage to heroes below 50% yields an extra 25% physical attack for 2 seconds. Even tanks melt if they get below 50%, and not many heroes can sustain such an onslaught. Now, if it wasn't enough for you, you can go even further and truly become a nuclear weapon. Sell your boots and buy Sea Halberd. Anyone who doesn't have the Vengeance Butter spell will be evaporated. Your lifesteal, regen and healing are reduced, and you will take extra damage when you get below 50% HP. When you reach this point, the enemy will not fight you anymore. They will run away from a direct confrontation. Also, you get an extra 8% physical attack against all enemy heroes with higher HP, just in case you didn't have enough. I think I only lost once when I got to the point of selling my boots and buying Sea Halberd or BOD as 6th item, and it was only because my own fault. As for the emblems, I'll put them on the bottom screen. I don't think I need to explain anything. I use Lethal Ignition because I like the Scorch adaptive damage. There isn't much to it. Quantum Charge is also nice, but I use Haskell, so I don't need the extra healing. And the movement speed isn't necessary. You have your first skill. For Butter spell, I use Flicker. I think it's hands down the best spell for Layla, both defensively and offensively. Combos. Layla has 2 of them. ESS is second skill with first skill. You gain a speed boost, you stun your enemy, and you can free hit in the early game. It is of utmost importance that you learn to hit your first skill. If you do, your life becomes much easier. Layla's first skill is strong in the early game, and hitting this skill allows you to lane bully many opponents. Second combo is first skill, second skill, basic attack, and ult. Movement speed buff, greater attack range, stun your opponent, and ult for good damage. Great poking combo against many marksmen who don't have strong lifesteal to regain HP quick. Hit this combo and your enemy will likely have to recall or stay and die. Counterpicks for Layla. I have played against quite a few gold lane heroes and I'll share my thoughts. I didn't find any pick that particularly made it impossible to farm in 1v1. However, there are some heroes I had to play more cautiously against. One of them is Mia in the early game. Pretty much 99% Mia players do the cheese strat and are completely clueless if they don't get the kill in the early game. Don't give her the kill, you win basically. Then all you have to do is to be conscious of her ult and that's it. Another pick is Granger. The idea is that Granger clears his lane faster than Layla in the early game. So he clears and starts poking Layla with his first skill. Once Granger reaches level 4, he starts to poke you with his ult. If he cannot hit his ult, you win 1v1. If he does, you have Harsh Claw, so regen of a jungle creep. Don't move in a straight line, zigzag a bit to avoid his first skill, and you will be fine. Another pick is Brody in the early to mid game. The difficulty of this matchup is up to you. It's only as hard as you make it. If you allow Brody to stack off you, then Layla is going to suffer. He cannot free poke you in a status quo position. He will try, but if he gets too close, you use your second skill with first skill and raid the ult to scare him off. Map control is the key. Don't allow him to get too close. You gain range as the game progresses, and once you build Rose Gold, Brody is no longer that dangerous to you. Layla will melt him before he can reach. That is unless he YOLO you with Flicker and Wind of Nature and you don't have Flicker yourself. But in the later stages of the game, you should be playing around your team, so this Unga Bunga strategy becomes much less of a strategy and turns into an inting play. The last one is Melissa. Against a decent Melissa player with Inspire, you have to respect her damage output, and you have to avoid getting too deep. If you do, you die. Melissa can kill my Layla build in any point of the game, but she won't. To win against Melissa, you have to fully utilize your range. You must avoid fighting her near walls or in closed spaces. Fight in open space. If she tries to second skill, Inspire plus Wind of Nature, well, you just run away. Especially after you finish Rose Gold. Like, she cannot get you unless you are too deep in her second skill. In many cases, you won't even need to use Flicker, but be conscious and always ready to pop that Flicker. Don't disrespect her damage. I remember last season, before Melissa got tiny bit nerfed, I was playing a game on iRoad.exp. I was doing pretty hot. Had like 6 kills, 0 deaths, my gold lane was getting gapped though. Enemy Melissa on like 12 kills, I tried killing her in 1v1 and died. She killed me in 5 hits without her second skill. Just basic attacks. In the end we lost, and I saw she did 60 or 62% damage. So yeah, I respect her damage output. I know I cannot underestimate her and be behind on gold. There are also picks like Saber Gold. You can play against this with better positioning. Poke enemy Saber and force it to recall, then clear and punish. Buy Rose Gold early with Dreadnought armor and it should be easier to play into. Again, make your own build, own adjustments. Items and spells that counter Layla. Wind of Nature works against players that continually attack you and don't make distance, or if you use Claude. Tank items make a difference but not that big when you have Pen. Vengeance works well in crucial moments. When you are under pressure to quickly kill an enemy, you might end up killing yourself in the process. It happened to me. You cannot out-sustain Vengeance. It's the same as Wind of Nature. Don't attack while it's on. Petrify is an idea for certain heroes like Saber or Diref. Get on Layla, press Petrify, and quickly unleash your combos and hopefully kill her. How do you nerf Layla? As much as I would love to see simple heroes like Layla get nerfed quite a bit and not see them in Mythic rank ever again, I have to respect the fact that this would go against my belief for a balanced game, where every hero is a useful pick. Also, Layla is the first hero you obtain in the game. I decided to put up my own suggestion for balance adjustment. My goal is to make a reasonable nerf, not a hero murder. Passive should remain the same, but I do have a theoretical suggestion. So in game, Layla can do up to 115 damage depending on her distance from the enemy. I would increase it to 130 or 140% with a twist. Whilst she would get increased damage, she would deal reduced damage to heroes close to her. 70 to 75% to heroes who are basically in Layla's face, and 100% to heroes who are in her brief level 4 ranged. As interesting as this sounds, it has one problem. The problem is that I play this game quite a lot, and I can see the 130 to 140% damage would probably be too much extra damage, as any good player can position well enough to always benefit from the damage pool, and with good team, this would get abused a lot. As I said, this is only a theoretical thought. It would help assassins like Lancelot to not get shredded whilst casting his ult. First skill. I would start from 160 base damage on level 1 going to 360 in level 6, with 75% total physical attack. It should curb Layla's early game a bit while keeping her potential. Layla's main form of damage in the early game are skill combos. This nerf should prevent Layla from snowballing too easily. Layla's second skill and ultimate skill probably remain the same. Maybe reduce ultimate's damage level 1, 2 and 3 to 450, 600 and 750 with 135% total physical attack bonus. Now comes the base stats. I would reduce her physical attack growth by 0.5 points and remove her mana bar. Layla's mana bar is obsolete and I don't see any reason to keep it. Layla is a squishy hero. Therefore, any reduction to her physical or magic defenses growth doesn't make sense, nor to her health growth. That's about it. I think you probably had expected something longer, but I do understand the intrigue of balancing. This is a very small nerf, which you probably think won't achieve anything because Layla's main form of damage in the late game is basic attacking, and you would be correct. The thing is that Layla herself doesn't need that many adjustments. That's why I kept it really humble. It's the items, the build I presented you. Layla basic attacks are nightmarish in the late game because the build has such a good synergy with her. She gets so many extra physical damage buffs from those items. So, to nerf Layla, you have to adjust the way many items works. And that's it. If you nerf Layla hard, what will become of her once those items are not as good? You have to understand that she is the first hero we get as new players. I still remember when I used to play Layla mid-lane years back in like 2016 or 2017, maining her and getting all the way to Grandmaster. Then, I once went against a champion on mid lane who destroyed my Layla and truly started my MLBB journey of mastering every single hero, except Fanny. My fingers are not that fast. That hero who destroyed my Layla became my most played hero for about 6 or so years, even though I stopped playing him in 2019 or so. He was none other than Yun Zhao, or Zilong today. I should play him sometimes. I heard he's reasonably good. So yeah, I want to see Layla nerfed. I don't want to see heroes like Layla, Maya and Hanabi appear in almost every single of my games, as it gets boring and repetitive very quickly. My ranked win rate before the season was 43% on Layla. The day I released this video, my win rate was 59%, just because I locked in for a minute. If I was a gifted player, I could have had even a higher win rate, like 80+%. Be reasonable with what you want. I don't want new players to have a horrible first hero because I don't like seeing this hero non-stop in Mythic. If I wanted them to feel useless, I'd give them Minotaur as the first hero. I want the game to be balanced and I don't want to pick the same hero every single time just because that hero is in the meta. If I wanted to main one hero and never try out the 99% remaining heroes, I just quit this game and only play League of Legends in Silver Hero. Why did I choose this specific thumbnail? Because you clicked on it. If the thumbnail ends up being what I think it is, you will be confused by this paragraph. If this is the case, I'm not surprised at all to see that First the thumbnail getting the most clicks. A little rage bait, I guess. I know people love getting rage baited all the time, and I want this video to get at least some traffic. The deeper answer is that I don't like seeing people pick Layla, Mia and Hanabi in GOAT, whilst they have a 50% win rate with like 200 plus games on any one of them. I just ask, how do you even get to this rank? I remember Epic rank used to be a place where these people would get stuck, and unfortunately, it seems this has not been the case for many seasons. I just don't like playing with people who don't know basic game strategies and rotations. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope for a more balanced MLBB. Bye.